Good morning. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage, on your side, your wisdom guided oracle. And hopefully, Restream is working this morning on my end. It's all a bit delayed, and we will see. I welcome any input from you all. Let me put the chat here. I think I can see it. Yeah, that helps. Let me know if things are not working, if there's actually anybody on this Friday morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. So good morning. Thank you all for supporting me here. Thank you for your insights. It's already been a crazy morning. The fact that I have coffee is almost a miracle. It took 3 times to actually get it made this morning. That's why that understanding. Great morning, Susan. Hey, how am I looking for you? Is it delayed? Is it on time? I appreciate that input because who the heck knows? Good morning, Teresa. So I got the 3 decks after trying 3 different times to get a cup of coffee made, or a pot of coffee made. I realized things are a little disjointed. This energy that's in, and that's how I approach life. Is I kind of pay attention to what's going on with me, and then in the past I have projected it out to see how that related to collective, and that absolutely plays in many of the times. Oh, thanks, Susan. It's a little cool here, but we're going to be in the 90s most all this next 10 days. Almost every day is in the 90s. Cool mornings. So, and summer continues. My husband, last week we were cool, and he said, maybe I'll take the swamp cooler out. I said, no, it's just still August, babe. And sure enough, it is warming up again. So as I was shuffling through the decks, I decided this morning I would just put them on and shuffle them, but not pull the cards. And as I was shuffling, the energy oracle cards, one jumped out. And so given that, I had this kind of morning. The card says action, but it came up in reverse. Good morning, Anne. And so that really cemented in. It's like, this is not necessarily a time to take great action in your life and in your career. This is a time more to just be a bit and maybe take care of you, do something special for you, some little treat this weekend. If you're not already doing something amazing, given that it's Labor Day weekend, a lot of you are doing fun things already. And so if you are, great. If you're not, maybe invent a little bit of fun for yourself so that life unfolds with less seriousness, less gravity, less weightiness. So let's see what the other cards have to add to. This is not a time to take action. Things being disjointed, we may want to hold off and see what begins to unfold for us. It could be a whole change in direction, and that's always something. Okay, and this is Embrace Spirit, that beautiful eagle, bald eagle, but it also came up in reverse. And I think, for me, this means we want to, you always want to embrace spirit, but we want to be a little more down to earth right now, a little more grounded, little less heady. And in my part of the world, that does mean getting outside into nature, getting my feet in the grass. I've been thinking about cleaning out our chicken house. Once we quit having layers, the pigeons moved in years ago, and it's just a mess out there. And so, the whole act of having to get on that super mask and all of that and goggles, because you don't want that dust in your lungs or your eyes. And so that's maybe something I will do, because I do think we ought to probably get some chickens again. I like having chickens. We raise chickens and turkeys real well. Our other animal raising endeavors were less than successful, so we gave up on that a long time ago. So be grounded this weekend. Keep your head out of the clouds a bit. Do some very down to earth types of things, maybe closet organizing, something like that. Purging, getting rid of a few things that you no longer need. Maybe that one closet, that's all, one closet this weekend. Often if we give ourselves steps, things are not as overwhelming. Just little things, 15 minutes of organization here in this room. Um, Patience came up. Beautiful card. Let me see if there. You really can't see it because there's so much white. Beautiful woman with feathers, wings, very much a white card. Maybe if I turn this down, you can see her a little better. That is a little bit better. But the card is patience. And it also came up in reverse. So we've got action in reverse and patience in reverse, which to me brings us right to balance. Balance is where we really always really want to be. Everything in us, in our physical, it's called homeostasis, where everything is in balance and in the right order and in the right amount of everything. And so that's what these two cards, because they're pretty much opposing cards. I'm gonna have another sip because I haven't had any coffee yet. It took so long to get it made this morning. That is good coffee. Balance. Definitely want to seek balance and ask, open, willing, ready. Show me where I am out of balance in life, because that is a great key. Sorry, itchy nose too. Look like I have no fools around here to kiss. We want to create that balance within ourselves, within our lives, within our relationships, within all of our desires, our actions. Balance makes life a whole lot easier to get through. It makes being in the flow much easier to get into. And being in the flow is a whole lot easier and more enjoyable and more comfortable than being in resistance. So balance, not a time to take action. Ground yourself. See what else Spirit has. This card is, cornucopia, and not in reverse. Something not in reverse today, and a lovely card not to have in reverse. That is the fullness of sufficiency, enough. And that's maybe a message for many of us who, came in with ancestral energies of lack and starvation and poverty. And we don't just bring in DNA, muscle, bone, body structure, that kind of thing. We bring in energies that our ancestors carried, and in times of need and lack. So we will have those kind of energies present, and this is a great reminder to be aware of all the abundance we do have. Maybe not all of everything we want, but what we need, and more than that. I mean, I have been blessed with a great deal of abundance in this life, especially compared to where my father came from and where I came from. I never went without. But I have been given a great deal more in many different ways, with steadier relationships and deeper friendships and all of that kind of stuff. We often don't think of abundance in all aspects of our life, and it really is a huge thing to work towards. And Monique says, good morning, Victoria. I haven't seen you in a while, Monique. This balance has been super rough, especially because I'm a Libra. I imagine, because she naturally desires balance, and we can make ourselves out of balance in many different ways, whether it's relational, whether it's in our food, in our addictive aspects, in our work life balance, There's just many different ways that we can become out of balance. And if you don't know whether or not you are, be open, willing, and ready to be guided. People will help you understand that. Other things will come up for you when you're open, willing, and ready to be guided. And, know that balance really is the place that is going to be the easiest for us to be in life. So already I'm liking Restream better because I can see all your comments in real time. When I was using the other streaming platform, none of them would come up, maybe one, until I was done. So I like that. The next card, we had cornucopia, and now it is blessings and not in reverse. And so again, a time of remembering what we have and what is to come, and where is your focus? Is it on everything you don't have, or what you're not enough of, or how you need to be different? I was listening to a spiritual guide that channels. His name is Lee Harris, and he's a lovely man. And he channels a group called the Z's. And anyway, Lee Harris had put out a video last night, and I had spent a day in self recrimination in many ways, kind of beating myself up, not having lived up to pretty damn rigid standard that I had set for myself for the day. And his message was, what the Z's brought for now is a time to just be. Slow down, stop, don't beat up on yourself so much, just be. And it's like, oh yeah, I forget that. I'm very driven inside myself and often very rigid with myself. In the past, I've been more rigid, and when I have not been, and because, here I'm this playful, lighthearted spirit who tries to keep herself boxed in these things that I have believed that I have to do. I have to be a certain way. I have to fit into this thing. And I can be very harsh on myself. And the just being, it's like, okay, well, I don't really know how to do that so much. I'm going to work on just being. And because I'm a playful spirit and don't love boxes, don't like rigid structure much, there's a part of me, and I've put myself in that most of my life. And I don't think structure is a bad thing. It just isn't easy for me. And so there are times when it's just unbearable and I have to break free. But, there's this other part of me that just wants to run in the fields and be easy, in all aspects, allow myself to be totally unfettered. And there's a part of me that fears what will happen to me if I absolutely let myself go. Well, it turns out I've let myself go a lot more in the last couple of years. And lo and behold, I'm still here and nothing bad happened to me. There are certain principles that we need to live by. I guess maybe we don't. The laws of the universe. Are we the ones who can change those laws? Maybe. But know that this weekend is going to be a little wonky. That's really what this message for today was about. So you don't want to take great action. You do want to find some balance, get out in Mother Nature, and remember all that you have. And financial constraints came up as well, but it also came up in reverse, which means things for some of you are going to be easing up out there. In the financial world, it's not going to be as difficult for you as it has been. So yay for that, because for many of us, that is a huge area of struggle, of worry, of strife. And for many of us in this country right now, even though our illustrious president has seemed to think it was a wonderful thing to have all this inflation, he told us a while back, that's actually a good thing. It doesn't feel real good at the grocery store, I got to tell you. And for many of you out there, you are far more strapped than someone like me. And I honor the struggle because I have been there. At Christmas time, I make a bread. It's an orange date bread that my best friend from high school got the recipe for when we were living together the first time at age 19, I guess. And the second time we were living together. And anyway, we would make that at Christmas, but it was a struggle because it had sour cream in it. It had real butter. It had dried dates and orange, things that we didn't buy regularly because we didn't have the money. And every year when I make that bread, not only do I think of Sherry, who has passed now, but I think I feel blessed because those things are part of my everyday now. I don't struggle to buy what I consider good, luxurious food. Good morning, Michelle. So, good morning, Ali Khan. Sorry, I'm not sure what MD Iman Ali Khan means, but good morning, or how to pronounce it correctly is not what it means. So, remember what you have as blessings. Honor that regularly because it is easy to get caught up in what we don't have in our life on many fronts. And remember to allow yourself this weekend to get out, find some balance, get into Mother Nature, just be a bit, don't struggle so much. And then the last card that came up was the fourth chakra. Archangel Raphael, that is your heart chakra. That is the color green. And interestingly enough, I'm wearing green this morning, which is not a color I wear often. But your heart chakra is really what you might want to spend a little time in. And all of, these cards, this is a very personal, this is all about you message, not so universal. This is time for you to take time for you, get outside, be a bit. Don't be as rigid with yourself as you have been, and know that things are going to be a little crazy this weekend. Things might not work out in every aspect the way you want them to, and that's an okay thing. It doesn't have to work out that way. Being in flow allows things to go, okay. So this retreat that I had scheduled in September didn't happen. And I am very at peace with that. I can't say I wasn't disappointed because I was, but it wasn't this huge, like, oh my gosh, where I have been in the past at times where it would throw me into, okay, obviously I'm not anything people want to deal with, any number of the lies we tell ourselves. But it's like, okay, well, what that does is it frees up a week there for me to do some other things, so to experience some other things. And always walking in the world with things are as they should be. And everything that happens to me is always for my highest and best good, even some of the most horrendous. And I got to say, at times, that does not mean that I'm going to know that at the time. I am probably going to rebel and scream and cry about some of the things that happened to me at that moment. But when you are open, willing, and ready to be guided, things will come into your understanding as to how you grew from that. And often that is hindsight. And so know that when you are in the midst, you're probably not going to perform all that wonderfully. But when you're ready to be guided, you will receive the understanding of how things unfolded for you instead of happened to you. The victims in the world will always, that does not mean that we haven't been victims. We have all been victims at some time or another. The victim does not want to own any responsibility for their own healing. They don't want to do their own work. They want everyone else's sympathy and petting and poor me. And so, that is never a powerful place to live in. When you're willing to grow and progress, open, willing, and ready to see and understand and learn, you will always see how things unfolded for you. They did not happen to you. You're here designing this life with Creator. You're not a victim of it. So beware of this weekend. Know that things may not go as planned. Be willing to shift, get out, find balance, grounding, and just be for a bit. Not so much doing is necessary. I think we are complete for this Friday. Thank you all for joining me here. Thank you for your support, your comments. If this is being viewed on YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel. If it's Facebook, if you follow me, I think that, and comment, I think the algorithms that helps. So I appreciate all of your time here with me. I do honor that because that is the only thing I cannot give you back is your time. Thank you so much for joining.